What's up guys, Ramsey here back for another Godforge video. I hope you are doing fantastic. Today I am starting a new series on YouTube called Minigame Account Takeover. So the goal is very simple. I look at your account, what you have selected in terms of legendary, weapon and imprint, and give you my honest opinion. And the goal is really to get you guys involved in the comments as well to see if you agree or not. Let's get into it. For this first episode, we are on the one and only Law of Evolution. He's the one who had the idea. I asked a question on YouTube a couple days ago about, ideas you guys may have for content while we wait for the game to release. And he's the one who had this idea, so we're doing his account first. That's what he has locked up right now. So I'm gonna give him some suggestions and what I would do if I had Shamash locked in. Of course, guys, let me know in the comments down below if you like this series and if you want to be a part of it. Join this content below, shoot me a DM and I will add you to the list, and I can do you next in a couple of days if you are interested. So let's start by looking at Shamash himself, and then I'm gonna go two different routes here. You guys know I like to look at all of this individually, personally, but I do know that most players out there are looking for synergy. So I'm gonna give him options in terms of synergy for Shamash himself, and then synergy to put the weapon and the imprint on somebody else that you are going to play with Shamash specifically. So two different options here that I like to look at. Let's start by looking at Shamash really quickly. As you guys know, if you look at my tier list, he is a S tier champion in my opinion. Really good. He has a 20% initiative aura in all battles. This is obviously amazing. On his A1, he's going to do an ally attack with the ally that has the lowest divinity. And if the target is under Aether Burn, it will increase the turn meter of all allies by 10%. Obviously, really good basic ability. Then on the core, attack one enemy. All allies will join the attack, and then once booked, I assume we have 100% chance to place Aether Burn. Aether Burn increase wicked chances by 10% and reduces the divinity of all allies heroes by 6%, which is great here because what was great here is when we have him awakening level 1, the Aether Bird cannot be resisted, so we don't need any accuracy on him. And then when we do the basic ability here, we are always going to fill up the turn meter of all allies by 10%. So it's going to be a really good loop with the core and the basic in addition to the ally attack. Then on the ultimate, we have a big revive. It's going to revive one ally, with 60% HP, 40% turn meter. Then place Radiance, attack up on all allies. That's really important. And then we're going to heal everybody by 15% of their max HP and place a shield equal to 50% of any excess healing. Passive, he has a passive on the ultimate. The first time an ally is killed in battle, gain full divinity and activate Light of Heaven. So when somebody's dead, somebody dies, boom, you do that instantly. And you can revive that ally who just died, which is amazing. Obviously, Awakening 5, we can look at this later because it will take a long time to get it, but overall, really good. And then on the passive, when an ally joins this hero in attack, increase their divinity by 100. Awakening level 3, place Reflect for one turn on all allies who joined the attack. So you understand, very good for the ally attack, kind of boosting at the same time our initiative, and then a really good revive here. It's a single ally revive, but still really good, and we place a good amount of buff here. Reduce damage received and attack up to do more damage. So, and potentially the shield. So amazing champion. If you pull him, keep him, he is really good. Now, if we look at the setup that he has here, and then we're going to look at his setup, and then I'll give you my two opinions on what I would go for personally if I had Shamash on my account. So if we look at the weapon first, he has Excalibur. Increased damage inflicted by allies by 2.5% for each buff placed by this hero. I think Excalibur could be better on other champions that place even more buff. But if we look at his kit, he does place a good amount of buff. So it's actually a really good one to have because on here, he's placing 2 buff and potentially a shield if there's any excess healing. And then once we have him awakening level 3, also a reflex. So, 2 buff kind of guaranteed, and then potentially 3 and then 4. So, once you have 3 to 4 buff, that's when I think it become really interesting. So I think I'm going to suggest something else, but I think Excalibur is a really solid choice. Now, if we look at the imprint, it's actually a good one for Shamash as well. You know, if we look at the Athena's imprint, each time this hero is attacked under shield, heal for 25% of the damage inflicted to the shield. If the shield is depleted or removed, adds 50% to place Petrify on the enemy for 1 turn. So it's actually pretty good. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it's actually really good because, as we just saw, it can place a shield. It may be a small shield. Sometimes it may not even place the shield based on, you know, how much healing, excess healing we have. Sometimes we won't even have that excess healing. So the shield won't be there all the time. Plus, it's on the ultimate, so it's gonna have a pretty long cooldown. So I think Athena's imprint is going to be better on defenders or on ISIS, for instance, that people that are going to have shield on the core ability that can place the shield more often, for instance. But it's still a really good one in this scenario. So I think this setup is actually really decent. I think it could be better, but it's really decent already. Now, here's 2 different scenarios for Shamash, in my opinion, that I really like. So first scenario is we're not going to pick a weapon and an imprint for Shamash. We're going to pick the imprint and the weapon for an ally that we are going to play with Shamash. Ideally, someone who has a really good basic ability. For that scenario, I really like Thunderbolt because, as you can see here, when this hero joins an attack, increase the turn meter and divinity by 5%. Now, we just saw with Shamash that he has an ally attack on the core ability and on the basic as well. Now, the basic is kind of gonna be random which ally is going to attack, but there will be some instances where whichever ally you've put the weapon on, he's the one who's going to have the lowest divinity and he's going to attack. So 2 different ways here to make that ally with this weapon attack. So every time that ally that has this weapon on attack, they will fill the turn meter and the divinity by 5%. So I think Thunderbolt to play with someone, even if you have someone like, if you're not pulling someone like Season with another legendary, was an amazing AoE attack on the basic, or any other champion with really good AoE attack on the basic with good multipliers, that's amazing on them. You put that on them and you play them with Shamash. And to pair with the Thunderbolt, I love Vivian's imprint. This hero inflicts 10% increased damage with the basic abilities. This is double when joining attack. So imagine now you have your Shamash doing one really strong ally attack, and then the second one on the basic that you have one of the ally that's randomly going to be attacking. But whichever ally you put Thunderbolt and Vivian on, every time they join Shamash in an attack, they're going to do more damage. So 10% here, plus doubled when joining the attack. Plus also they'll be feeling their own turn meter and their own initiative constantly every time they do an ally attack with Shamash. So that's the route I would go personally for Shamash, but it's not something you're going to put on him. It's something you're going to put on a really good ally that you're going to play with him, if that makes sense. Now, if you don't want to go that route and you want another option that's actually really good for Shamash himself to put on him directly, or something that you can put on him or you can also play separately like I would do and put on somebody else. In this case, for the weapon, I would stick with either Excalibur or Forge Fire. The 2 reasons here. Excalibur, we already mentioned it. He is going to place a good amount of buff, so you're gonna have extra damage here constantly. Again, especially when you're doing that ally attack, it's actually really strong him because when you do that ally attack, your allies are going to be doing more damage. So it's obviously really strong. And then I also really like Forge Fire. Why? Because this champion, his role is not going to be doing damage. His role is going to be to stay alive, boost our divinity, help us do ally attack, but also has a really strong revive on the ultimate. So because of that, it's also a champion we want to keep alive. So you could play it a bit more defensively where you make sure he stays alive. So Forge Fire reduce damage received by 10%, does not receive damage per wave until this hero takes the first turn. So obviously that's really good. Also because you have that amazing passive on the ultimate that, you know, the first time an ally is killed in battle, gain full divinity and activate this ultimate to revive somebody. Obviously, if he's the one dying first, that won't work. So might as well make sure we keep him alive so that if this happen pretty early on in the fight, you can utilize this right away. So both options are going to be really good as well to put on him. Now, regarding what imprint I would go for, if we look at the second scenario, you do have a lot of options. We already mentioned that we won't be putting any accuracy on him because I think it'll be pretty easy to get him awakening level 1, therefore not needing the accuracy. So we're going to stay away from all the imprint that require accuracy to place potential debuff. But again, I think in that scenario, the goal is kind of to keep him alive. So that's what we're going to go for. Keeping him alive, I really like a couple of them, of course. Fujin could work, obviously, reduce damage he will receive from area attack by 15%. Grendel is not bad for him, actually. For every 20% HP this hero is missing, increase the speed initiative by 5%. This is really good to get that ultimate quicker potentially and also get that ally attack quicker. So this one would be pretty good on him. You also have Heimdall. Allies under buff have 25% chance to reflect any debuff received. That's actually really good because he's placing a good amount of buff. So that's always going to work as well, just to reflect debuff on any allies. You can obviously go Hercules. Again, the goal is to keep him alive. So prevent the hero's death and heals them to 50% of their max HP. So just in case if they are about to die, you obviously bring them back to life pretty easily. I also like Isis imprint. At the start of this hero's turn, remove all debuff and disables from the ally with the lowest HP, then heal them equal to 5% of this hero's max HP. This is good because we're going to put a good amount of HP on them to make sure it's on Shamash, to make sure it stays alive. So here we will have a decent heal as well because it's based on his max HP. So you can kind of do a mix between, you know, really supporting him as a champion or supporting your team a bit more. I love Morrigan. Honestly, Morrigan is still going to be probably my first choice for a lot of people because I think to me, this is a really good imprint, but also Morrigan is Eternal Champion. So you guys, you need to keep in mind that Eternal Champion in the game are going to be harder to get than other affinities. And one way to get imprint is to destroy champions. So if you think about, there will be other ways to farm, but the main way will be to destroy champions. So if you're like, I really want Morrigan, you know, Morrigan's imprint, you know, you're gonna have to potentially have to destroy her. So to get her will be harder anyways because she's an eternal champion. So you do have to keep that in mind. But I love Morrigan. When an enemy receives a buff, 50% chance to reduce its duration by 1 turn. If the enemy receives a debuff, 50% chance to increase its duration by 1 turn instead. This is going to be good on everybody. Quetzalcoatl is always a good one as well. When this was defeated, revive one ally with 50% HP and increase the initiative by 5%. This is actually really good if you have another reviver in the team. Hopefully you can, you know, if your other reviver is dead, your Shamash dies, you can revive your other reviver. That could be really good as well. Svarog is really good for him. Each time an ally uses an ultimate, decreases the damage received by all allies by 3%. This is good because of his passive. That's actually going to boost our divinity, but also the aura is going to give us more divinity as well. So we are going to, you know, our allies are going to get the ultimate quicker, and then we can take less damage. And then obviously Sun Yukong, one of the best one as well. Place Immortal on this hero for 2 turns when receiving a fatal damage for the first time. Also has 20% chance to join an ally's attack. So that this time he will be joining the attack. So these are kind of the options in terms of imprint. If you go the second route, I don't think one is just better than anything else. But really, if we go the second round and go like, I really want him to stay alive so that we can utilize his ally attack and his ultimate as long as possible, then obviously Sun Yukong would be the best one with Hercules, just to make sure we keep him alive and give him a second chance in the fight, basically. But anything else I mentioned just now is going to be the best options in my opinion. Regardless, what you have here is very, very solid, but these are kind of couple options I would give you. Again, whether you want to do the combo weapon imprint to put on him specifically, or just a good weapon and imprint to put on somebody else, that's going to be a really good damage dealer that has a really good basic ability to join the ally attack with Shamash. So these are my options. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you want to be next for this little series, let me know and I'll see you guys in the next Godforge video.